Okay, yeah. So, welcome everybody to the Microsoft stage. Really great to be here. I hope that you're having a fun day at the Rate My Virtual Career there. So to introduce myself, my name is Kimara Davies. So I lead on the attraction and recruitment for the UK student programs, which means I look after our apprentice, interns and graduate hires. And I've been at Microsoft for about 3 years, always looking after their student programs. And I've got some great people with me today who I will hand over to introduce themselves. So if you want to kick off.
Thank you, Gemma. So my name is Jack Sloan. I've been at Microsoft for coming up to 1 year now, and I manage the internship program in the UK. So that's the onboarding process from when you join us, right the way through to the 12 months that you're with us, hopefully over to the Aspire hiring or graduate program as well.
And I should be next. My name is Gio Angel. I'm an university recruiter for the UK. I've joined the recruiting team 20 months ago, and I'm so happy to have you here. Thank you.
I'll go next. Hi, everyone. My name is Ali. I'm a cloud solutions architect on Azure, and I'm working under apps and infrastructure. So under 2 teams, enterprise scale and storage. And I'm currently on a placement year at Microsoft. So after this year, I'll return to do my 3rd year at the University of Sheffield.
Okay, thanks everyone. So just going to remind the audience that if you've got any questions, please pop them into the chat box and we will get to them. I'm going to kick off with some questions. So first of all, actually, Jack, there's a comment in there saying that they saw you in Goldman Sachs. I'm not sure if you were working there or if you've got a doppelganger over in the Goldman Sachs team that's already been on stage.
I dropped into their session earlier on to have a look.
Right, okay, cool. Right, so Jack, as intern program manager, can you explain a little bit more about the program that we offer at Microsoft, please?
Of course. So I think on a very basic level, Microsoft is quite a complicated organization in that we have 11 different business segments, which you could potentially be an intern in. And so really we have to grow our own talent to make sure that, we've got the interns with the skills needed to fill those roles at the Aspire graduate level. So we have this 12-month industrial placement or internship, and we really do get you on board, give you a really good introduction to the program, and then we build the skills in you across the 12 months. So we have lots of different sessions across the 12 months spaced out across the internship to help you with things like soft skills and to help you with your technical skills. We pair you up with a buddy, a mentor, and we give you all of the training to really give you the tools for success at Microsoft. By the time you come up to the end of the program, we hope that you're kind of at the caliber, you've got the skills and the learnings to be able to be really successful at Microsoft in a permanent opportunity after you finish your final year at Microsoft and university and then come back.
Cool. So you mentioned 12-month program, cool. And I'm guessing that's July 2021 start. So you mentioned some bits in there about like soft skills. Can you elaborate a little bit more on how we help people at Microsoft to brush up all of their softer skills?
Of course. So we've got various different training programs across the year. I think the first one we kick off with after the comprehensive onboarding program, which really inducts you into Microsoft as an employee. We have a session called Combating Imposter Syndrome, and that really is designed to demystify Microsoft, but also show you that you're worth being here. We've recruited you from our process, and we want you to start to think that you're worthy of your place at Microsoft. We don't want you to look at other peers, your other interns on the program, and start to kind of benchmark yourself versus their program. It really is about you and your progress with your manager. There's lots of different intern roles across the program, and so it really is about kind of concentrating on yourself and making sure you're striving towards your own goals. I think as we go through the program, we put on things like presentation skills. So Gio's leading a session of that with our current interns next week. Then I've got some sessions to deliver to the interns on networking towards December, and going over into the next half of the year, the final 6 months of the internship, we have more program training points as well. We also have some external training things. So I think we employ a kind of an outsourced vendor to come in and teach you things about resilience, inclusion, and development. So lots of different trainings to enable you to be the best intern that you can be at Microsoft, to give you the best chance of landing those graduate roles at the end.
Sweet. Okay. Thanks, Jack. Gio, so what is it that you look for in our placement students? Like, what makes a great placement student?
Thank you for asking, Kema. That's actually a very good question. We're looking for people, to have a very open mind, to be open-minded, to have culturally correspond to our values and principles. Our company really believes in having a growth mindset, and we do look for, as I said, people who are ready to start all over again. Let's say by having this tabula rasa kind of a mindset, so they can actually add on their skills throughout our placement. And if I may add to what Jack just said, regarding the experience, we also have great employee resources groups, such as like Women at Microsoft, BAME, GREAM, accessibility. So you get to, whatever your passion is, you get to have a stretch project that kind of resonates with your passions. Also, we get to do lots of philanthropy events together, and lots of organized interns events as well. So that's why we're looking for people who are ready to, and willing to go above and beyond, and come out after this placement with a whole new perspective.
Cool, thanks, Gio. So Millie, welcome back. I know that you're having some challenges today with Wi-Fi, so good to see you. So we do have a question in there that talks, so we've got Navia asking, what skills are you looking, where is it? I saw it in there. What opportunities are there apart from just programming? And I thought you'd be great to answer this question because you don't come from a tech background. So do you want to talk a bit about your background and the role that you do at Microsoft, please?
Yeah, sure. Thanks. Yeah, sorry about the Wi-Fi issues, but hopefully we're all good. So I do a business and management degree at uni. Obviously, I'm at my placement year here at Microsoft. So my role is a modern work and security specialist. So it's actually a sales role. Obviously, in a tech company, there's technical stuff involved. But as you said, I'm not from a technical background. I was quite nervous when applying and joining, as I thought I'd need to know everything about tech, but you really don't. As long as you're open to learning, I've literally learned so much already about tech that I literally thought I'd never knew. But yeah, so in my day-to-day role, we obviously sell the modern work and security solutions. So that involves Windows, Office, which is your Teams, PowerPoint, etc. And then our enterprise mobility and security, which is probably the most techie I get with the security side. But yeah, sort of, as I said, I'm in the sales role, so it's more focused on finding the leads for our customers by using different tools, sending out emails to set up customer calls, and then actually getting on with the customer and ultimately selling and showcasing Microsoft solutions to help that business. So yeah, not loads of technical stuff involved in my role, but obviously if I do want to, I can do the Microsoft exams, etc., to skill up on my technical skills. So yeah.
Cool. Thank you very much. So Ellie, I'm going to come to you and ask you some questions. I know that you're kind of more on the technical side of the business, but as a cloud solution architect, do you want to talk us through what a typical week looks like in your role, please?
Yeah, for sure. So I think for my week, I'm in two different kind of divisions. So one is enterprise scale, which is basically when our customers are not on Azure, so they have all their data and storage on premises. It's migrating them to Azure and making sure that they have the right framework in place so that their workloads and their applications can be migrated and then they can be scaled in the future. And the second part is in storage and backup. So kind of communicating these different backup and storage solutions to our customers and making sure that they are kind of backing up properly and making sure that it can be scaled in the future. So when they decide to migrate even more workloads, we have solutions in place for that. So in a typical week, I'd be communicating with a lot of communicating with my team to help in customer engagements, and a lot of my role actually involves speaking to customers and understanding what landscape they currently have in place with regards to their like cloud needs. Because first of all, a lot of our conversations are understanding their current infrastructure so that we're better able to help them. And another project that I'm involved with is a software engineering project called Virtual Doctors. And I do that with another one of my, another intern. And that's kind of, that's more technical project where I get to do a lot of coding. And it's super exciting because I have that kind of balance between doing coding, which is what I enjoy, but also getting that customer interaction and having that customer facing role, which is also great because I improve so many different soft skills when I present and when I demo. So I have kind of the best of both worlds there for me.
Cool, thank you. So we have got some questions in our box here. So where should we start here? So we've got some random ones there.
Well, I have just answered the question about if we have, any type of housing. I've answered in the chat box, so we can take the next ones.
This one's quite a difficult one to answer at the moment, isn't it, about locations and housing? Yeah. Right, Jack, so if you can talk to me a little bit about, so we know that at Microsoft, internships are definitely not teas and coffees. It's very much full responsibility. How are we making sure, like in depth, like how we embed the interns into their teams, how they get the right level of training? I know you kind of went over this high level, but it'd be good to get a bit more detail on how we support our interns. Jack, you're on mute.
Sorry, I was trying to save background noise. Of course, thank you, Kemma. So perhaps I can talk to you a bit about the training and how you can hope to develop on the program. So at the core, I think 70% of what you do will be your core role at Microsoft. So that's kind of getting up to speed in your business. And of course, we've got roles across sales, marketing, technology, consulting, and operations. So 70% of what you do will be that business as usual job, in your internship team. But on top of that, what we want to do is also give interns a different experience as well, kind of a different project to work on. And so we have at Microsoft stretch projects, and that is kind of 20% of your time at Microsoft. So 1 day per week, you would be working on a separate project, which is completely away from your business as usual. And they can be things like our DigiGirls project. We have EduConnect, which is kind of like helping schools and universities with their technology, lots of different projects that you can get involved in. And then the final 10% of your learning is structured learning, so almost classroom-based. So Microsoft online exams, insights, and kind of classroom-based learning. So that's really how we want you to divide your time up on the internship. And we do feel like that is a very rich experience. Add to that your support network with your mentor, your buddy. You've got lots of different pillars of support on there. And as you go through the internship, things might change, your priorities might change as well as kind of different projects come through the teams. And that's absolutely fine as well. But we do think it's important to give people different perspectives and, give people a chance and opportunity to find things they're passionate about and kind of achieve those as well. I think you're now on mute, Kemma.
Honestly, I feel like it couldn't be a virtual call without having done it at least once. Can you hear me? Am I back? Cool. So there are a couple of questions in the box just kind of about the assessment process. So I think now's probably a good point for me to just say what it is. So make sure you're taking notes because we're only going to say it once. And then I think what we'll do is go over to, so once I kind of go through the assessment process, I'm going to come to you, Ali and Millie, and just ask you about kind of what your top tips are. So be thinking while I'm talking. Right, so in terms of our assessment process, it is the same for all of our early in career roles. It's only a 3-step process, which I think is brilliant, but also what that means is you've only got 3 opportunities to really stand out. So the first thing you need to do is head over to our careers site and apply online with your CV. And that's all we require. So we don't require a cover letter. There is no online testing because we know that that can negatively impact certain groups of people. So it is just a CV upload. And then once you are assessed for eligibility, because that's what we really look for at that point, Then what we do is invite you to have a first round interview with our colleagues out in the US. And it's around 30 to 45 minutes. And it's all about your strengths and your potential and your motivation for wanting to join Microsoft. And then if you do really well at that stage, then the final round is a virtual assessment centre, which is obviously normally face-to-face, but at this moment in time, it is definitely virtual. So let me head on over to, so maybe Ali, if we can start off with you, just throughout that assessment process, and let's think more about, I guess, the final part of that, which was your assessment centre. What's your top tips that you can share to people who are wanting to grab themselves a job right now?
I'd say the biggest tip that, like if I could give to somebody is just to kind of, on the day of the assessment center, not to be nervous or to be, it's natural to kind of be nervous because it's an assessment center for Microsoft, so you're going to be quite nervous. But on this, at the beginning of the day, one of the things that really helped me was kind of meeting all of my managers, like it's a bit informally before the start of the day, so kind of sitting down with them and having like a 5-minute conversation, and that whole that was kind of built into part of the day, so that really made me feel comfortable speaking to a lot of the people that I was going to speak to throughout the day. So I'd say if you're kind of nervous or worried about speaking to a manager or kind of having an interview, I'd say that's okay, but just don't worry about that. And I think the second tip is to kind of be yourself, because I think one of the things that I had trouble with is kind of even getting the assessment center on the right day for me, because I was abroad actually last year, so I could only come back to the UK for 1 week. And Kemal actually managed to arrange my assessment center in that week. And that kind of showed to me as well that Microsoft is really trying to help me be the best that I can be. I didn't have to fly back to the UK, especially. I could do it in the week that I was coming back. So Microsoft will kind of help you to try and get the best out of you out of that assessment center. So just be yourself when you come there, and yeah, try just not to be nervous is the main tips that I could give. I think you've got on mute there again, Kemal.
It's because I'm very much used to, with Teams now, it actually tells you you're muted to get off of you. So Millie, sorry, hopefully there's some tips left for you to talk about. So if you've got some tips to share, that would be amazing. Thank you.
Yeah, sure. So sort of building on what Ali said about being yourself, I think as well, just sort of be open and honest. So starting from with your CV, like sort of write what you're good at. You don't want to say you've done a load of things when you haven't, because you'll have a really difficult year. Like I could have come and said, yeah, I'm really technical, I know what I'm doing, when I don't. But I think as long as you're open and you want to learn, and you get that across in your interviews. As I said, I don't have a technical background, but I remember in my online interview, I have a passion for the delivery that Microsoft do. So getting that across and just showing you have an interest and a passion for it, even though you may not be the most technical person, I think is really important for my perspective anyway. And then also, as Ali said, again, sort of building on being yourself, but again, at the assessment centre, just turning up, trying to be as calm as you can, but again, just like saying what you do normally. Don't just sort of say whatever just to try and please the manager. Just really say what you enjoy, what you're good at, and then what you'd like to learn, and hopefully you can do that if you get placement. So yeah.
Cool, thanks, Minnie.
I have some top tips for the internship if you want me to pick on me.
Yeah, right. And actually I have something else that I'm going to ask you and Gio, so don't worry, I've got questions for you on top tips, but yeah, that you can start off with that one.
Sure, absolutely. So I'm conscious that, when you come onto an internship, it doesn't have to be at Microsoft, it can be anywhere. It might be your first experience in work, it's absolutely possible. And so just wanted to share with you some of the learnings that I've collected working with early in career cohorts for the past 5 years. And one is kind of turning up to meetings early. People notice that kind of thing. So if you are ready in the meeting, and it can be a virtual meeting these days as everybody's working virtually, people really notice, if you're kind of there ready, waiting, asking the right questions. So top tip number one is to turn up to meetings early. It can only just be a few minutes early. It doesn't have to be, significantly 15 minutes, but 2 or 3 minutes, people notice that. You look engaged, you look ready. Another one is as well, like you're all looking at, big corporate employers possibly. And one really good skill to kind of develop from an early stage is to summarize information concisely. So if you've got a big meeting, if you can kind of summarize the key themes of that meeting afterwards and get into the habit of doing that, you'll develop the ability to talk about really complex ideas, projects, and be able to summarize them very concisely. And that's a really useful tool for an intern, but also for a graduate to find as well. Number 3 is to be proactive. So if you can plot the next stages in a project and be ready for them, anticipate, then that's a really good skill to develop and show to your manager or your stakeholders as well. It shows that you're switched on, you're engaged, you're smart, you're interested. Number 4 is to ask questions. I think I'm guilty of this as well in my younger days, decades ago. I think it's always 100% better to bother somebody with a question than to sit in silence and struggle, because conscious that you're kind of nervous on your first experience at work, but at Microsoft, people are very supportive. So leverage the support network, ask those questions. Don't sit in silence, panicking, thinking you need to think your way through. If you've got to execute and get to position 3, you need the information on position 2 to be able to do that. So if you need to ask that question, make sure that you do. Number 5 would be to own your experience. So you're kind of, looking to these employers, and these employers are looking to you to say, what do you want to get out of your internship? So be in control of your career, provide feedback to, the likes of me, program managers, recruiters. Do you feel like you're getting out of the experience what you need to? Very important. Ask for feedback and get into the habit of asking for feedback and being provided with feedback. When I was in your seat and, I had my first couple of jobs, when people were giving me feedback, I was quite defensive, because it comes across as critical sometimes. But I think if you can develop the ability to ask for feedback and also give feedback as well, it's a really good thing to do very early on. And it's always there. It's always designed to help you. Embrace the feedback, listen to it. It's coming from a good place. Use it to improve. Nobody is perfect. Nobody does things right the first time. So, listen to the feedback. Support your peers as well. At Microsoft, to succeed, you have to help other people succeed. It's one of our metrics that we're measured on. Have you helped to build on other people's ideas? We're a very collaborative organization. Point number 9 is to develop a strong sense of ownership. So sometimes things happen out of your control, which means that your deliverables or your actions are not immediately possible. But if you go out of your way with your initiative to remove those impediments, you will display and show a sense of ownership, and that's really important. And number 10 is just to have fun along the way. Your intern year is there for you to have fun. It's a quarter of your university program years. So, make sure you have fun with it. Have the socials, get involved, meet new people. And I think it's really important to say the people on your internship with you will go on to do great things, and you'll have that great network as well. So make sure you have fun along the way. And that's my top 10 tips.
Thanks, Jack. And then Gio, just to ask the same thing. So in fact, I'm going to ask you a different question. Thinking about where we are right now in this landscape of COVID, with less jobs and lots of ready students who are wanting to start work, what tips would you give to people who are looking for a job right now?
Thank you, Gemma. That's another good question. Yes, indeed, given the actual context, is more challenging, right, to find the job you're looking for, you're interested in. That's why it's very important the way you present and you prepare for the interview, for both of them. The final round interview, which now we translated to a virtual assessment center, pretty much consists in having done your research very well. And by research, I mean to understand our culture and our values, and of course the principles we believe in, and of course show motivation for the role. So by this I'm referring to be prepared, get prepared to answer to questions such as why Microsoft, why this role, as in to show determination for the role. Also, it's extremely important, it's significant to us, we value a lot to be able to back up your answers with, with evidence. So you can use past experience as examples, wherever relevant. And of course, it's also very appreciated to, to be able to convey your passion for tech, to show that you have that versatility that you would later, be able to express it within the role, and surely to have to demonstrate your, drive for the placement and the role, because it's pretty much a full-time, real role job.
Cool. Right, and I think I've got some top tips just to share, just generally. So what I would say in terms of applications, you need to be really specific and intentional. I know sometimes careers advisors do say that you should go out and apply for lots and lots and lots of roles. But what I would say is try and choose, 3 or 4 companies that you like the sound of, you like the culture, you like their values, and you like the role. And choose those ones to concentrate on making really good applications rather than just sending out generic applications for 100 organizations, because that won't get you far. In terms of your CV, so I'm not sure if you know this, but on average, a recruiter probably looks at your CV for 6 seconds. So think about in those 6 seconds, what information do you want to, what's the really important information that you want to highlight? So don't put things on your CV that don't need to be there. Things like personal statements, they normally turn into a list of like random words that don't really mean much, like collaborative and leadership and conscientious. Think about, again, what information is really important to have in your CV. So it will be if you've got any experience, if you've got any technical skills, about the value that you're going to add to the organization that you're applying to. We've heard lots of people say it, but it is really important throughout your process to be yourself. If you are finding that you have to be someone else, it means that the place that you're applying to might not be right for you. And actually, if you make it in, as Millie said, you're going to have a really hard time if you've pretended to be someone else for, the whole part of your assessment process. Another thing that I always say to early in career, like choose the skills and the culture of the organization over the salary. At your kind of early in career stage, you're probably only going to be thinking maybe 1,000 or 2,000. But if you are working in a place that just pays you slightly more, but doesn't have great culture, or the culture doesn't fit with you, it's going to be a really, really hard couple of years on your graduate program or your student program. So choose an organization whose skills, the skills that you're going to get out of the role, really are going to propel you forward, and also the cultures and values really resonate with you as a person. And then finally, I always say this to people, so what is meant for you, it will not pass you by. So if it's the right role, it won't pass you by. And if it's a no, it doesn't mean it's a no forever. It means that there's some sort of learning experience in there, but there's definitely going to be a place for you later. Jack will tell you, Gio will tell you, we've applied for lots and lots of jobs. I've had lots of no's, but I feel like I'm in the right place now. So everything does happen for a reason. So I would say be patient. I know that this year is not the greatest year for students, but definitely be patient, because your opportunity will definitely find you. And in the time that it doesn't, what I would say is there is lots of opportunities to upskill yourself. So you can go on, you can build out your technical skills, you can build out your soft skills, so that when you do come back, you'll have lots more opportunities. Right, so those are my top tips. So I think we've got about 7.
Add on something to that, actually. So just in terms of in terms of what Kemal was saying, so one of the interviews that I had at Microsoft, it was with someone who was working in the finance side of the tech at Microsoft, and I was actually getting a lot of questions, and I was speaking a lot, and every kind of question was building on after the other one, and as the questions were building on, I was answering them, and I was giving my answers, and after that kind of interview, I felt, it's not gone really well, because it's been kind of question after question, and it's been detailed, but in reality, what I failed to see was that actually he was going deeper into my answers and he was testing me even more. So even though I felt that it went bad, it actually turned out on the flip side, it was actually good because he kept going deeper into my answers. So don't feel disheartened if you're kind of being put to a test in an interview as well. So that would be one of my tips too.
Cool. Thank you very much, Ali. Right, so we've got 5 minutes left. I'm just looking through the questions, a lot of them. So we've got lots of questions about software engineering. So I just want to put it out there now that software engineering opportunities are closed for 2021 start, and they will open up next year in August of 2021 for 2022 start. Feels like a really long way away. I think that might be it in terms of questions. So if anybody's got any closing remarks, if not, we can happily close out and then we will go to our employer brief. Right, so I'm going to ask this question because I have seen this a couple of times actually. So what opportunities are there for first year students? So other than attending kind of events like this or some of the events that we run throughout the year, so Ali and Millie both work in the Campus 101 team with me, and we will be having a few more events that are happening next year. So I would say do join those. We'll give you lots of hints and tips on how to apply for kind of the internships for the following year. But in terms of work experience or proper insight opportunities, we don't offer any of them currently for first years. And then I think that's it. Right.
And just well, Kemma, just on the question about can final years apply for the 12-month program? Unfortunately not. To be eligible for the internship, you must be in your penultimate year of a 4-year course, sandwich course.
Yeah, I answered that, well, not that one specifically, but there's a couple of very similar questions. So please do roll up because a lot of these questions have been answered already. There is a question around non-UK candidates, specifically about visa and travel. I'm not going to answer that online, not the time nor place. What I would say is the program that we offer is the same across the globe. So apply to your home countries. It's a very, very, very busy year for applicants, and we're seeing lots of them come in like as per our own countries. So you've definitely got more of a chance when you're applying locally than you do to an international opportunity. And that goes for UK students who are trying to go over to the US, for example, as well. So you've got way more of a chance of getting in your home countries because that's where you've studied. Alrighty then. So I think we can say goodbye to everybody, and we will be over at our booth to answer any questions. So please just drop them in the box, but have a great day all. Hope you enjoy the rest of the event.
Thank you everybody for listening to us. Take care.
Thank you so much. Take care.